Yeah, and we know we've got people watching from all over the world. The internet connection here is kind of weak, but we're going to be running out and picking up the Twitter feed. If you'd like to Twitter us, we'd like to know where you're watching from in all the different places out there as our main goal here. And you can hashtag us at MRDA Champs. We are underway with Corporal Punishment jamming for Puget Sound and Mr. Furio for Southern Discomfort. Furia looking for position at the front of the pack, coming up against Corey Payne and Hunter. Now looking for the inside. Corporal Punishment grinding into Spectral Aberration and company.
Oh. The pack is only moving because Corporal Punishment is trying to press his way through. He takes to take the outside, doesn't quite make it. Player goes out of play, though, so he comes back in, and he takes the inside, and he is up lead jammer status to Puget Sound.
And we had a misconduct as well on Hunter, so he will sit for a full minute. Sudden impact in the box as well. Corporal Punishment will call it off, doing the first damage of the day for Puget Sound.
An excellent way to start off.
We'll see Reaper stepping to the line for Southern Discomfort.
Scott Slamilton for the Puget Sound Outcasts.
3-on-3 blocker situation. Really impressed with Dylan Botts and blocking yesterday. Really great timing, had some excellent hits on those jammers to the outside. Really dynamic player for such a diminutive stature, but plays very big.
His agility is amazing.
Yeah.
And that's
Fantastic.
something we see a lot of with Puget Sound. They have a lot of really, really incredibly agile players. So we'll see here, led by Dylan Botts, we got the little Triforce going. Scott Slamilton coming on the outside. He gets lead jammer status 2 in a row.
Wow, Puget out strong to start this one off. Reaper still looking for that hole, but getting good penetration on the defense. Gets knocked down to the outside and picks up a cut track. And Dylan Botts knew that, was very aware, like told the referee, like, hey, that's a cut track. Calling the penalties from the track there. Sudden impact back on the floor from the penalty box. Now Slamilton through, picking up 5 points. Putting 9 now on the board for Puget Sound.
And Puget ready for Scott to come back and then kind of try to bust up So Disco's walls. Now it's Scott taking the lead up there. It looks like Puget's going to go ahead and try to wait for the pack to split or those boys to go out of play. Not quite the case, though. Scott is knocked out to the outfield, and he comes back in. He's going to have to come all the way back in behind Ballistic. Reaper is back in play. He's trying to mow his way through the pack. Scott gets knocked down pretty hard to the inside. He's going to come back again behind Sudden Impact.
Skilled play we're seeing out here. You know, you get different styles, sometimes very, rough and tumble. This is being executed quite well on a skillful level. Dylan Botts goes down underneath of Reaper.
Oh, he's all right. That looked like a pretty...
he looks like he might have caught some floor with his face there. Not too happy about that.
Yeah, but I mean, like the spectacular thing about that last one is they've got the 3-man up front, and they're kind of waterfalling him in. So it's like one goes out, somebody pops back up to replace him very quickly.
We'll have Blitzkrieg stepping up for Southern Discomfort.
His Fancy Pants, actually Fancy Pants, I don't know if you know this, is actually originally started with Capital City Hooligans, which is from Illinois. So I actually met him in Missouri, and I've just recently moved to Washington. I met him again, and I was like, how do I know you? It's because we're from the Midwest.
Blitzkrieg getting knocked to the outside. Fancy Pants as well. Strong formations on defense for both teams.
Quadzilla taking the very top of the pack, keeping back So Disco's jammer.
Multiplayer bot called on Ryrod.
For the first time already, it's going to be So Disco's Blitzkrieg is going to take lead jammer status this time. He's hot on the heels right behind Fancy Pants and goes ahead and calls it off before either of them are capable of making it to the pack.
Yeah,
right now, the score is going to sit 13-0 in favor of Puget Sound Outcasts. We're just 25:30 left on the clock. MRDA would like to thank some of our sponsors, especially Rydell, made in the USA, made for Derby, Rydell Skates.
Corporal punishment for Puget Sound. Horn dog for Southern Discomfort. 4-on-3 pack advantage for Southern Discomfort. Cut track called on someone now. Yeah, blocker stepped out of bounds. It's Asbit.
Yep. Got Bots up front again, controlling Chuck and Jensen there. Oh,
Horn
sorry,
dog
Hollywood.
looking for position at the front of the pack. Very focused defense here
Definitely.
on the front end for Puget Sound. Horn dog having a tough time breaking it down. They continue to cycle to the front. Big shot from Hollywood. Chuck Hendrick knocks him out of bounds and slow to get up.
Southern Discomfort tried to pull a cut on Corporal Punishment. Did not succeed. He did get through. He has lead jammer status.
That was like a heavyweight punching a featherweight. Just not fair. So 5 on the board. Puget Sound really jumping out in the lead here. 16-0 of their Southern Discomfort with 24 remaining in the first half of play. Turn left. Stop by the turn left skate pro booth and get size for Bonts, Antics, or Jackson skates. Well, you can do that if you're here. If not, you can hit them up online. Turn left.
Got a 4-on-3 pack advantage going to Puget this time. Just for a few seconds, though. Southern Discomfort's last blocker comes out of the box. In the meantime, Scott Slamilton has taken lead jammer status yet again for Puget Sound. Ooh, Quadzilla taking, sorry, I lost it. Mr. Furia into the inside, recycling him back, making it really rough on London today. Looks like a high block is being called on number 5. It's Asbit.
Furio back and forth in the pack, trying to get position. Now chesting up with Corey Payne, wins that battle, sliding around the inside. Let Scott Slamilton lead jammer, calls it off after racking up 5 more. So blanking Southern Discomfort at this point. Southern Discomfort really needs to get in there and get some lead jam calls. They were so dynamic against New York yesterday. And we've seen a lot of interesting things this weekend that you wouldn't expect. Like TC Terrors yesterday, 33 points against Bridgetown's 316.
Oof.
But then coming in today and playing a heck of a game against the Aftershocks. So scoring 185 points.
Wow. In the meantime, back on the track, Fancy Pants has taken lead jammer status for Puget Sound. He comes in, his teammates, Bot's trying to help him through. Bear's not having it. Although it looks like Bear's going to be sent off for a forearm call. Fancy Pants coming through, picking up 5 more points for the Outcasts.
Yeah, Bot's so strong on those skates, maintains standing on the feet after that big shot. Draws the penalty on it, so spinning around the apex there with a little jump. Fancy Pants. 5 more on the board. Reaper through.
Reaper's coming in fast. Bots is getting ready for him, catches up to him.
Reaper might have got in there and might have also picked up a low block.
It looks like a misconduct is being assessed by Jay Vorel out there.
Kind of came in a little aggressively there with the feet. Leaping through for some points, knocking down an opposing skater.
Well, it looked like, Bots was after him, and it looked like maybe he was after Bots too, so.
Well, and it was, they scored 2 right there, though.
Hey.
They're on the board, but sitting in the box is Reaper, and we'll start off on a power start for Quadzilla. 3 blockers on the track. Sutton, Samdroid, and Spectral Aberration trying to do the work. against Quadzilla. Quadzilla spins through past Sutton on the outside of the far straightaway.
Quadzilla coming up fast. Boss Bear is coming in from outside the box. Puget's players making each other aware of him coming back. Quadzilla on one skate, spinning around. Again, some of the most agile skaters I've seen. Puget Sound picking up 5 more points.
Now we've got Reaper back on the floor and on the attack. Trying to jump into the pack with position, and they'll pick up a low block on that one. So back to the box after being back on the track only for a few seconds, hanging his head. The Reaper feeling pretty grim. Spectral now moving back, recycling Quadzilla, who picks up 4 more on that pass. So look at the statement that Puget Sound is making here at 43, and you would not think that the way Southern Discomfort played New York so close yesterday. These two teams, the Puget Sound is the 5th seed and Southern Discomfort the 6th seed. You'd expect a very close game, and I think Southern Discomfort maybe a little rattled yesterday by that loss. They were pretty upset. There was a couple of mental errors that happened within the team, and just a couple things different, and they would have won that game. And I know they were really hanging their heads after that one yesterday. It's one thing when you come in and you play your heart out, you do your best.
Right.
It's the other thing when you feel like you just could have done things different.
Right.
And you know what? To everybody who has ever felt in that situation, everybody on the team could have done something different. It's a situation where you can't point the finger just at one particular play at the end of the game.
Right.
Every play, the whole game matters. So, it's a collective effort of efforts.
Right, and you just really gonna need to take away more of a learning experience rather than dismay from it, and hopefully we'll see some of that. It seems like these last 2 penalties with Reaper, he's clearly not intentionally doing that. It's just like he tries to jump the apex and something just goes amiss.
Reaper the leaper, he does that. He's
well executed, but then the landing not quite what he expected, and then he lands in the box.
Yeah. Aggressive jammer, and you want that, but
right.
not to the point of recklessness. Stoner locking down the front right now. Turnaround blocking. Scott Hamilton having to recycle, but back in, getting bumped by Stoneher, and now Illbilly trying to stop him, but to no avail. Scott Hamilton lead him.
Coming back into the pack, Scott Slamilton facing off against Illbilly and company. That's Stoner. He makes it past them pretty quickly. 5 more points on the board for Puget Sound as Puget lines up. They've got Reaper, who's now back in play, held fairly well back. There's only a couple of So Disco's blockers still on the track. Scott makes his way through them quickly, but only 4 points picked up that time. Southern Discomfort is now ready for him, holding him back.
Oh, Reaper with the cut track, and that is just devastating. One of their top blockers now has 3 penalties in a row inside of 3 jams, has been sitting over there in the penalty box at the start of the last 2 jams. Brutal, just brutal. So it remains 57 for Puget Sound, 2 for So Disco. Roller Derby Elite, the brand that defines the sport. They are an official sponsor of men's Team USA Roller Derby Elite.
What is our hashtag again, Ron?
It is hashtag MRDA Champs.
All right.
MRDA Champs. If you can get some reception in here.
Sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. I'm going to attempt to see if we've got any tweets. In the meantime.
So Fancy Pants on the floor, digging into the action, getting recycled by Sam Droid to the outside, but quickly back in. Now Spectral Aberration going down in an attempt. Direction to gameplay being called on Sam Droid. Fancy Pants through. No pass, no penalty. Still picks up 4 of the 5 on the floor. Reaper back into the mix, now gets knocked out of bounds. Reaper's got to watch it on these penalties here. 4 penalties inside of less than 10 minutes of gameplay, or just over 10 minutes of gameplay.
So Reaper is through, having completed his initial. He'll be coming in for his first scoring pass. I'm not positive. Fancy Pants did know, and he went ahead and called it off from the middle of the pack. It looks like 3 points picked up by Puget, nothing picked up by London. So it's going to be 64-2 with just under 17 minutes left in this half. It is in favor of Puget Sound currently. I did manage to get enough reception. So Fawn number 85 is watching us from London.
Oh.
Wishes the best, of course, to So Disco. King Crazy, once again, is in love with our call.
Oh, well, thank you, King Crazy.
Thank you.
We're trying. So back on the floor right here before we get to some more tweets. Corporal punishment for Puget Sound. Blitzkrieg for Southern Discomfort. Ballistic Wigglesworth trying to hold down the front in a pyramid blocking scheme. The only kind of pyramid scheme that I like. Corporal punishment trying to force through up the middle and does. No pass, no penalty. So not lead jammer. Blitzkrieg with a little attempt at it. Apex jump. But abandons that effort to the inside. Now stuck behind Hollywood and Nugget. Recycled by Hollywood. Hollywood so good one-on-one. Just excellent with those. Hitting all the way to the line. Picking up 5 points is Corporal punishment. Now looking to the back of the pack again after Ballistic Whistle took the star pass, getting into position for points, scoring them. So hopefully now more than 2 points on the board for So Disco.
He's coming through. That's another 4 points, bringing him up to 6.
Corporal punishment now engaging in the pack, trusting the defense with Ballistic Whistle coming in. Blitzkrieg drawing the pack way back.
It was like Hollywood's going to be sent to the box on a forearm call. You can see that yields a little bit of advantage for Southern Discomfort. Ooh.
With 2 in the box over there. So Ballistic Whistle through, picking up 4 more.
Nugget coming out of the box, coming after Ballistic pretty fast. Ballistic slides through on the
Wow.
inside. Wow.
Oh my goodness, picking up a back block. Not too happy about that.
I thought
Gonna have
that
to go
was
all the
successful.
way around.
He did pick up 3 points there before that back block was called. 5 points, however, for Puget Sound. It's going to bring us to a 14-11 jam. We have a it looks like official review called by Southern Discomfort.
Yeah, Southern Discomfort may not be happy about that back block call that we have. So some amazing news, and if you've been listening this weekend, you know this already, but it is worth repeating. Next year, there are going to be 3 playoff tournaments to determine who qualifies for the 2016 MRDA Championships. Going truly international, one of those tournaments will be held in Europe, 2 here in the States or stateside. So I'm really excited about that. I'm already planning on making a trip over there to Europe to see that tournament. I love the European teams, both MRDA and WFTDA. We're seeing so much of an international influence now. And again, if you are out there watching on the interwebs on WFTDA.tv, tweet into us and let us know where you're watching from. We love to acknowledge that. Maybe what league you're from. You know, if you want to give a shout out to somebody on the floor, you got a fan favorite, let us know. Anybody in France watching Mr. Furieux, you know, what's up?
I've got one from Cassidy that says she's watching from work. So Cassidy seems to be my kind of person. And then I've also got Cece pointing out that Jensen's do it better.
Oh,
a shout out to Michael Jensen.
I got one from Jensen to that same person.
Oh yeah.
So
That's great.
CC'd, right?
Cece, yeah.
Okay, and also to MJ. So we got shout outs there, and Hollywood, Chuck Hendrick would like to give a shout out to Jet City Roller Girls and Rat City. Hollywood loves you. And while we're doing the shout outs, definitely Southern Discomfort wants to give a shout out to Nanakai, who couldn't be here, broke the hand, get home. So that's really sad watching from London. Big shout out to Nanaki, and they were using the hashtag Do It For Nanakai.
Nice.
Nanakai, right?
I'm not positive.
I think so. Nanakai. Correct us on the interwebs if we're wrong.
Please,
you know,
tell Raucus how to say words. I didn't get to do any of the Southern Discomfort bouts last year. I got to do like one of their lead-ins, so I haven't had to do the names just yet. That's why yesterday when we were announcing, I was told it was Furia, and then you're like, no, it's Furio. I'm like, that's what I was told last year by someone from England.
Furio was what I did last year, and someone said, I mean, I walked up to him yesterday, and I was under the impression it was Furia, and then I talked to him today, and he was like, Furio, and I was like, Furio, and he said, that's close enough, so Furio.
Good enough.
Anyway, I think it doesn't work because we don't have a French accent. Like,
it's true.
Furio.
Yeah.
I think it's something like that, and we're just not, we can't get it right because we're dumb Americans.
We.
Well,
to not to change the topic off of our intelligence. I love you.
Oh, official reviews. Don't you love it?
Watching from Newcastle, UK, is Alice, Big Smack 199, saying, hey. So Southern Discomfort needs more shrooms. I'll try to pass a note to the team.
So, of course, that was White challenging the back block call, and the call will stand. Sorry if I interrupted you.
Oh, no, you're fine. No, you didn't.
So, information coming in from our ref crew here. Big thanks to all the refs and official crews that are on staff here doing a great job at MRDA championships. Couldn't do it without them. NSOs, refs, and track crew.
Oh, they've been brilliant this weekend.
Absolutely.
Speaking of brilliant out there, Ballistic Whistle facing off against Scott Slamilton.
Sudden impact with the forearm. We'll take a trip to the penalty box, and we've got Scott Slamilton with lead call.
Scott whizzing by. Oh, Ballistic was in the box. I totally blanked on that. So Ballistic is now standing just a few more seconds before
started
Southern
in the box from that back block.
Oh, yep. Just what we were talking. Hey, I'm still here.
Yeah.
And I'll
we can do it. We can do it. Scott Slamilton around the outside, picking up 4 more or 5.
Ballistic has stashed the star in his hand.
Ooh, Ballistic almost got the cut track right there. Yeah. Danced. I saw it from over here. Danced from the inside, the outside, step back in. That's so tricky, though. Your momentum kind of carries you forward.
Right.
I mean, knew he'd stepped out and had to step, but I think when you do that, you got to fall down or something. Is that right? Whoops, I fell down.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Just thump.
So, and then crawl back outside.
Yeah.
Don't listen to me, though. I'm just an announcer. And Scott Slamilton back into the mix, scoring more points, culling off the jam.
An 18-point jam for Puget Sound, bringing us up to 19-point jam. It's going to be 97-13 in favor of Puget Sound.
So now struggling with the penalties over here. Reaper 4 penalties, Ballistic Whistle 4 penalties, and we are 12 minutes remaining in the first half of play. We could see some foul outs here. Also Illbilly with the Knights of Discomfort with 4, Boss Bear with 3, Asbit with 3, and we'll let you know on Puget Sound, the Outcast, right after this jam.
Speaking of the Outcast, we've got Thunderstruck jamming for the first time in this game. Getting taken out to the outside by Boss Bear, who has picked up a forearm penalty himself. He's going to have a seat as Thunderstruck is recycled back.
That looked like more of a belly block than a forearm to me, but...
that's why we're not refs, sir.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Ballistic back in play. It takes a little bit of a tussle with Mr. Jensen. Jensen being called out to the box, so he's going to go have a seat, maybe say hi to Boss Bear, see what's going on over there. In the meantime, lead jammer status has been awarded to Thunderstruck. He's going to face off against Asbit. And is that Stoner?
Bots just really, the lateral movement of Dylan Bots on blocking is phenomenal. So I know that D-Bots has a lot of fans out there, but I'm becoming a bigger fan every day. Nugget also putting up an exceptional Nugget getting knocked down by Boss Bear there. Caught him unawares. The bear caught him unawares.
I don't mean to laugh, but that was just such seriousness.
Well, and there he goes. The Boss Bear knocked him down again.
Woof.
So
Boss Bear came out of the box with some vim and vigor.
Vim and vigor from Boss Bear, and that's why they call him Boss. Well,
so yeah, looks like Boss Bear's not fielded for this jam. Everybody breathe as they're a little safer. We do have, it looks to be, an empty penalty box for the first time in a couple of jams. We've got 4-on-4 blocker-wise, 1-on-1 jammer-wise. What?
Fancy Pants versus Mr. Furio.
Yeah, Furio is trying to dance around these Puget blockers. Not quite the case. Fancy Pants is through with some ease, picking up lead jammer status once again for Puget Sound.
Furio getting knocked around on the outside. It's Puget Wall back and forth in there, dancing, trying to use those shoulders to get positioning now, pushing on Quadzilla. Quadzilla has to let him go on the front end.
So it looks like that was a 2-point jam for Puget Sound. We're just at 10 minutes left on this half. 113-13 in favor of Puget Sound.
Wow, 100-point lead, and who would have thunk it? And it's any given Sunday kind of activity here in the MRDA. You don't quite know what to expect, so you have to watch it here on WFTDA.tv. We sure appreciate them carrying this live feed for us. And Blitzkrieg on the floor. D-Bots in control. Look at that MVP-style blocking. Now, wow, Blitzkrieg with the high block will go to the box after bumping into D-Bots' head with a extremity. So the penalty problems continue for Southern Discomfort. Meanwhile, in the pack, Corporal Punishment trying to grind through this great defense. Boss Bear driving him to the outside. M. Jensen. Trying to open up holes for him here. 4 on the floor. 4 versus 2 blocking advantage for Southern Discomfort. And you can see that. They've got a nice structured wall in there. Trying to break it up. Wow, big shot from Hollywood onto Boss Bear. Takes him down, breaks up the wall, but then Boss Bear back around and recycles Corporal Punishment to the outside. Corporal Punishment going to go on the high block.
It's a high block call, definitely. I was going to point out, actually, they're almost at half each other's penalties. Puget Sound sitting at 13 penalties with Scott sitting in the box. And Southern Discomfort is at 25 already. Over the whole team, of course.
And they were so focused yesterday.
Right.
You really saw a great attack for them against New York. And the team, I thought, wow, how much practice they've done and how well they came together.
Right.
And then today, having a lot of trouble, looking a lot more like a newer team to the MRDA and with less experience. And, you know, some of this might be attributed to that lack of experience this year in terms of play time. And we've got, huge shot from Hollywood. Direction of gameplay will be called on Hollywood, but Blitzkrieg slow to get up on the outside. That was a blasting shot, probably knocked the wind. He got Blitzkrieged by the Hollywood.
Zing. We will be here all about.
Yeah, that's right.
It looks like the Puget coaches are out there with Quadzilla discussing something with Chopsaw. Not quite positive what that would be at this point. I'm having connectivity problems in the venue, so if you are tweeting us, I'm trying, but I'm not quite successful. Play is back on. Horndog is out there with a power start, I believe. Oh, nope, sorry. Am I lying?
Scott Slamilton recycled back by Piston Broke. Horndog trying to get position. Now for lead jammer status. Corey Payne and Piston Broke both to the penalty box. Nice work by Spectral Aberration again, but gets the forearm penalty, so not so nice work. Scott Slamilton, tries to take the inside, but recycled by Sutton Impact. Sutton Impact, really huge impact on that game yesterday. Spinning block there, recycles him again. One-on-one, so good. And you know Scott Slamilton is good, so That takes some real talent there. Teaming up with Sam Droid. That's 3 recycles in a row. Meanwhile, Horn Dog into the back, scoring points. Pushing up front, one-on-one with Quadzilla. Scott annihilating. Huge shots from Scott Slamilton all over the place, taking Horn Dog to the ground.
He is going to be sent to the box for a blocking to the head this time. So Scott's going to be seated in the box. It is a power jam for Horn Dog, who also does have lead. So,
yep, calling off the jam in the pack, but maybe trying to get a little momentum going here. Southern Discomfort picking up 5. 113 to 23, 5.5 minutes remaining in the first half of play here. It is getting pretty vigorous right there. We have a shout in from Bracknell, UK, and Newcastle, England, Argentina.
Wow.
That's good. We got people watching in London, Ireland, Staffordshire, England, Portugal, South Wales, and Embarrass, Minnesota.
Nice. Embarrass, Minnesota.
Well, that's quite the extensive list there. We really enjoy getting these tweets in, so thank you very much to everyone out there in Twitterland for playing along and communicating with us. It makes it more entertaining when we know that there's a huge Derby community following along. And how about Argentina? We're getting so many
That's
more
amazing.
teams.
Right.
And South America, Central America, they're starting to have a lot of tournaments down there. I fully expect that, by next year's playoffs, we'll have one of those South American or Central American teams up here competing in championships. That's my prediction here.
Well, Men's World Cup is coming up again next
That's
year. And we
I'll be there. Calgary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited because I finally moved nearish Canada, so now I feel like I can drive everywhere. But that's coming up next year, and hopefully we'll see some representation from South America and some of the other teams from like Asia and stuff like that, where we have less representation.
Furyu now jamming, facing down these really tough blockers, taking them on one-on-one, and Nugget gets the better of him. Now coming back in behind him. Dylan Botts trying to hold down the front end. Piston broke coming out of the penalty box. A 4-on-2 blocker advantage on the track for Sodisco. Our Shop Gifts is your home for unique Derby swag. Our artist, our Derby, our Shop Gifts. Stop by and get you some. They said to rub some pirate on it, so
Is that
that
right?
was my attempt right there.
Good work. We're going to have Fancy Pants facing off against Reaper. Got a couple of Puget Sounds guys in the box right now. Reaper's going to come out ahead, getting lead jammer status for Southern Discomfort. Oh, Reaper is taking quite a fall. Let's see if he's going to go ahead and call it. So it wasn't called for injury, it's called for him, but I think he may need a little bit of attention. He's holding his jaw as he gets up, but he is getting up. Puget Sound guys trying to help him out. Our medical staff here has been brilliant, so he will be attended to, rest assured.
Yeah, Reaper's having a little bit of time yesterday, spent some time with the medics during the game. So a lot of bruises going around, all the way around here for these teams, but that's the nature of the game. It's roller derby.
Right.
So, I wanted to talk a little bit about playing time this year and experience. And, looking at the records here, Southern Discomfort with a record of 3-0 this year. So, they played 3 games over at the Men's European Cup and, taking 3 victories there. But then you walk over here on the other side of my table to Puget Sound at Cass Derby, and they have 7-2. So they played a lot more games this year, a total of 9 compared to 3. And some of that experience and time and working together, you really develop the communication between the team and the consistency. So, you know, with that, thinking about that, not such a big surprise that you've got, London, England over here, maybe not playing as well as they did yesterday, and Puget continuing to play strong.
Well, as Chaos Theory Derby has tweeted to us.
Oh, Chaos, hi.
Yeah, hey. Pointed out, New York plays hard with their walls. Puget Sound has a lot of speed skaters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very different play also.
It is.
And I think that's a really good observation. So thank you.
Love Chaos Theory, and I know very much missing being here this weekend.
Yeah.
Always present at men's. So big shout out to Chaos.
Corporal Punishment is going to be headed to the box for track cuttery. He's going to have a seat that's going to put power jam for Southern Discomfort as their jammer comes back on the track just as Hollywood leaves. So we've got 3 Puget Sound players still on track, all 4 Southern Discomfort, and Blitzkrieg trying to bust his way past Bots. Bridged out by Nugget. And Jensen, he finally gets through as that out-of-play warning is issued. Lead jammer status goes to Southern Discomfort.
It's an impressive group of blockers on the floor right now. Amazing that the size difference that they have. It's not, similar to some of the teams we're seeing in MRDA, putting together some incredible blocking walls with not a lot of size on the floor. So it shows that strength, agility, speed, lateral movement are just as big of factors as size. Of course, you like to have a team that has a good balance of all those things. One of the things I love about roller derby. So waxing philosophical, meanwhile, taking the star pass, handed over to Dylan Botts, who can play all the positions coming up on the pack, and that will end the jam. We have a minute and a half left with Puget Sound at 114, Southern Discomfort at 34.
And that was just a 3-0 jam and 3 for Southern Discomfort.
Once again, you are watching the River City Rumble. That is the 2015 International MRDA Championships, live here from St. Louis, Missouri, hosted by the Gatekeepers. Now, the Gatekeepers, of note, will be playing in the championship game later today in their hometown here against the 3-time champion, Your Mom men's roller derby. Meanwhile, Mr. Furio, attacking the front and picking up lead. That's the kind of aggressive play they're going to need to get back into this one. Look at that defense from Sutton Impact, recycling Scott Slamilton. And meanwhile, Mr. Furia continuing to battle, picking up points, getting positioning. I love the way he uses those shoulders to just kind of dive in and then, hits the opposing blocker and gets position and takes that hole. So opens the hole and takes it. Now pushing behind Spectral Aberration for the block, spinning in the middle of that tornado blocking from Puget Sound. Boy, they continue to get position. Great recycling of blockers to the front of the pack to maintain that position, and now recycling both jammers to the back of the pack. Spectral Aberration trying to take on Scott Slamilton 1-on-1.
He's doing a pretty good job of holding Scott back. Scott does make his way through, and on the inside, he's just finished his initial pass.
Period clock at 0. 30 seconds left on the jam clock.
All right.
And that'll do it for the first half here.
We're going to be going into half. That is 9 big points put on the board by Southern Discomfort. It's going to put us at 114-43. We got about 15 minutes before do halftime. Sorry.
25 minutes remaining in the second half.
We do have some shout-outs from Dorset and Oxford. And also, King Gracie's finally corrected your pronunciation. It's Nanaki.
Nanaki, thank you very much. And this is why we love you, Derbyverse.
Yes, out there he is with Spa Town. And that's one of the few things I know about UK. Out there jamming. We've got Horn Dog facing off against Scott Slamilton. I see Horn Dog's head popping up and down behind Corey Payne's shoulders. He's trying his darndest to get through, but it's going to be Scott Slamilton finding a way easy through on the inside.
Yeah, Scott Slamilton's so explosive. Give him a hole for a second and is through. Now both engaging the respective blocking packs. Scott Slamilton drawn back. Hasbit and Ballistic Whistle forming a 2 while braced by 2. As AK likes to say, hypercube defense. Now Scott punching through on the inside will call it off with Horn Dog threatening. So Dylan Botts, 13 points, corporal punishment, 23. But Scott Slamilton, 52 over on the Puget Sound side. They're getting it done. Fancy Pants, 37. Reaper now fouled out of the game with 7 penalties on that side. Michael Jensen has 4, and here's Johnny has 4 over on the Puget Sound side. Furio and Fancy Pants. Fancy Pants kicks up the cut track, so it'll be a power jam for Furio. Furio spins, almost gets the inside line, but has to recycle back into the pack.
Of course, I need not remind you, it's a much-needed power jam. There's a 107-point spread right now. Or sorry, not 107, 104. It's 147 to 43. See if Furio can do some damage right now. Looks like he's having to get his way past. I believe that's Jensen and Nugget.
Now Nugget draws the cut track. Nugget, 24K awesomeness. They're really, impressing me with that blocking ability and agility on the track. So got to give credit to those blockers when they draw those penalties like that. That's as good as scoring points any day of the week, maybe better sometimes. And Quadzilla now with the star on bars is our jammer.
Yeah, coming out of the box. Got that successful star pass. He was quickly through, finishing his initial. This is his first scoring pass.
Whoa, and spinning by almost. Spectral got him. Spectral's so good at that, hitting all the way to the line. Spectral, a great story. Didn't, wasn't really a skater or athlete, and more of a board game kind of guy, and he wanted to ref for London and came in and started learning to skate to ref a couple years ago, and then just kind of progressed right onto the team naturally. Now an outstanding blocker for that team. Very impressive to see someone come virtually out of nowhere and then become a force to be reckoned with in the MRDA. Someone says, I think it's Fury Yo, as in I've got some Fury Yo. Yeah, he said it more like with a U at the end to me. Fury You, Fury You. And I was like, Fury You.
I'll do Fury Yo, and you do Fury You.
Fury Yo, Fury You. And we'll just everybody out there in Twitter land will be furious. So
that's cool. Yeah, last year we had the option. They're like, or call him Mr. Furious. Either call him Monsieur Furio or call him Mr. Furious. And I was like, Mr. Furious it is. But this year, I've been told now 2 different pronunciations, and I'm just like,
yeah.
Is it okay if I just call him Mr.?
Like I said, it's French. So we are having a good time here, and we will continue to all day long. That third place game, Texas, New York, I'm super excited to see that. I can't make a call on that. And
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch. The thing is both of those teams, they have so much strength. And I feel like it's going to be one of those bouts where I'm going to yell myself hoarse, because this is my last bout for the day, so I can now yell myself hoarse.
Yeah.
So I will.
I'm doing the championship game on house over there with Magilla Gorilla, and that'll be a lot of fun. So I'll have to save myself for that one. But speaking of that championship game, your mom, the story of consistency with 3 straight MRDA championships and, really – with a big target on their backs here this weekend. Everyone's shooting for them, and everyone's watching when they play to see what they're doing and look for weaknesses. You saw the gatekeepers in the crowd just studying.
Right.
You know, they weren't cheering; they were super focused, and you saw that like it was a study in roller derby to watch it. And you know, speaking of that, you should watch with your team the WFTDA footage on archives.
Oh yeah.
You know, the TV footage is phenomenal. It's a great way to train. It's really how some of those teams that have gotten really good really fast have done it. They've watched, they've studied it, taken notes, and then take those to practice.
Right.
It's something that everyone should be doing if you're out there. And you should definitely tune in to the live stream of the WFTDA championships from St. Paul, Minnesota, November 6th through 8th. That's going to be incredible. If you can't be there, of course, if you can be in St. Paul, show up there, and I'd love to see you. So back on the floor, Fancy Pants for Puget Sound and Shrooms for Southern Discomfort. Shrooms, one of those strong jammers who's really tough. They like to have him out in the blocking rotation, but when they puts the star on, can definitely put the shoulder into somebody. Right now, the person putting the shoulder in is Hollywood Chuck Hendrick. And we'll pick up a low block, shaking the head on that one, not too happy about it.
So really quick, just so you know, Fancy Pants is in the box because he left early before he did the star pass Quadzilla last jam. So I'm not positive there was any points awarded last jam, but if there were, they became invalid. And Fancy Pants just now out of the box, back on the floor, through as lead jammer. He did start in the box, so he's completely eligible to be.
Absolutely, with some fancy toe stop work to make it by on that initial pass. Now taking the grinding approach straight up the middle into Boss Bear and winning that battle by sliding around the outside of turn 3. Fancy Pants. 5 more on the board for the Outcast. Fancy Pants jumping, a little apex hop there, and Boss Bear kind of smacks himself on the head like that was me. Should have had that inside line. So that's what we're doing. It's a learnament too, you know, maybe the championships, but everybody's learning, everybody's growing. It's great for these teams to all get together and be able to play each other. They don't always get to do it. You know, you've got a team like Puget Sound, and they have a lot of teams around them out there on the West Coast to play. So they got the opportunity to see a lot of action. The Big O, of course, happening out there. Love going out to the Big O with Phil Dirt and all those guys. Big shout out. That's why I said Sinbin earlier. It was a homage to Phil Dirt.
Channeling your Phil.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Channeling my inner Phil Dirt. So, hey, Phil and everybody out there. So, also one of the great tournaments of the year that is a co-ed is ECDX.
Yeah.
That's one you should go to summer camp.
I had to miss this year. I'm so ashamed. I hope to make it next year. Speaking of awesome things that happen, Blitzkrieg is out front, and he's going to be on a power jam. Corporal Punishment headed off to the box. Looks like he picked up a back block call. So Blitzkrieg coming up against Puget. Piston Broke trying to break up these Puget Sound defenses. Blitzkrieg doing a pretty good job on his own. Coming up against Nugget. And then last Jensen, he makes it past.
Blitzkrieg's got great agility for such a big guy. Very impressive, has a strong future. They're taking a shot and bending over. But continuing to attack the pack. Nugget with the bump out, the booty bump out, taking it hard to Blitzkrieg. Piston Broke. Head to the penalty box. Corporal Punishment working the front wall, gets taken down with a sudden impact of Sutton Impact, which will be called a forearm penalty. Blitzkrieg has lead jammer now leaning in. Vito Ramon holding down the 2-wall.
Corporal Punishment being recycled a pretty significant distance back in the pack. Blitzkrieg still trying to bust through. He's taken out to the inside. It looks like...
Man, Bots and Jensen work so well together. Sorry to interrupt you.
They sure do. Nuggets being sent to the box. I believe that was a forearm penalty. Ooh, Blitzkrieg tries to jump the apex, gets knocked in the air, but successfully lands. And that's 5 more points picked up by Southern Discomfort. That's so far a 10-point jam for them. That's the end of that 10-point jam. No more points awarded to either. Of course, can't be picking up points if you're sitting in the box. I do know that.
That is correct.
Facts.
Powerdyne performance plates for the modern derby game. Powerdyne. They've got cutting-edge designs, cutting-edge performance, unmatched stability and response in a simplified, revolutionary design. Powerdyne Arius.
So power start for Southern Discomfort. Corporal Punishment is in the box. Horn Dog is not. Now trying to bust his way through Quadzilla. And looks like Corey Payne once again coming out of nowhere.
The timing on these hits to the outside by the blockers of the Outcast is extraordinary. They're, picking on these jammers one at a time. One stands them up, the other one comes in and annihilates them. They push to the outside. The minute they think they get through, they get hit with a well-timed bump to the outside and recycled. So we've seen that over and over and over again. It is the secret to great defense here. Whoa, everybody's all on top of everybody in the turnover here. We'll see if we get any penalties out of it. That'll be Boss Bear going into the penalty box.
Looks like he got picked up on misconduct, if I saw that hand correctly. Horn Dog is coming in, having successfully completed his initial pass, which really took some time. So if nothing else, they burnt up the remaining seconds that Corporal Punishment had in the box before he got back into play. Looks like the star has been passed to Thunderstruck, who's just finished the initial pass for Corporal Punishment. He is being sent off, however, for a forearms. This is going to be a power jam for Southern Discomfort. Hopefully Horn Dog can make his way through and turn some of these blockers into points. Ooh, he skips through on the outside. 5 points picked up, Southern Discomfort. It brings them up to 58 to Puget Sound's 161. Oof. Ballistic having a little bit of trouble. Stand on his feet for a second. He's going to come up and be the one blocker facing off against Corporal Punishment for a minute as Corporal Punishment tries to make a hole for Thunderstruck to come through. Puget Sound pulls themselves back, paying more attention to the jammer than helping their own jammer through. That is the end of the jam, though. Looked like there was a forearm call from Rockety. I think it may have been on Thunderstruck. Let's see if he has a seat in the box. Yep. Sure enough, that is going to be another power start for Southern Discomfort. Right now, we're 100-point spread, 161 to 61 in favor of Puget Sound Outcasts.
Radar Presto is now available in 99A hardness. Nail your stops. Presto. So while we're taking a little break on the track, there is something I want to try and say if I can choke it out. But I wanted to give a shout out to Team Lobster and dealing with the loss of Rob Lobster to cancer. And Bridgetown wanted to give a shout out and send all their love to Sarelson and the Rose City Rollers family. Back home, they're here, but their hearts are with you, and so is mine. (161) Outcast 61, Southern Discomfort. It's a big roller derby family. Everybody's feeling that loss here.
It was rough. I saw it this morning.
Yeah.
And several of the officials out here are from Portland. Of course, Portland's men's team out here and things like that. So it's been a rough day.
Yeah. I'm wearing my
everyone.
purple MRDA shirt right now. So.
Back to the action. Furio does have that power start, as we mentioned before. He's taken a lot of guff off of Puget Sound. Hollywood sent to the box. Furio now up against Bots, who slamming him around, but he does get through. Lead jammer status goes to London. Furio facing off against Vito and Bots up front. Jensen stuck back behind London's blockers. Believe they have what we call a goat. Bots being sent to the box. Furio coming back through. That means Bots and Hendrick off the floor for a minute. Some key players in this jam away. Hollywood coming back in. Thunderstruck coming back in. London not having it. Thunderstruck's having to mow his way through. Piston broke up there. He's not quite making it. Spectral as well. Each of them having a turn at holding it back. The pack is almost at a stop because of this. Thunderstruck is trying his darndest to press through. Not quite. Furio, though. There he goes. 4 more points on the board for Southern Discomfort.
Good stuff. Playing hard. We're getting late in this one. 13 and a half minutes remaining. And the guys from London playing tough.
Looks like Furio is going to have a seat in the box, turning this into Power Jam now for Thunderstruck, who has just now finished his initial pass, will be coming in for his first scoring pass. That jam concluded, nothing more picked up by either team as a 14-point jam for Southern Discomfort. Very well done. Puts us 161-75 with just under 13 minutes left. A team timeout is being called by Puget Sound.
Well, we've got Tittles watching from Bonnie Blythe. Big shout out to So Disco boys. And how about Essex Men's Roller Derby supporting Southern Discomfort Roller Derby from Southend, Scotland.
I would like to give a shout out to J-Raw, who was supposed to be at Champs this weekend with New York Shock Exchange, but he had to take a test for work. I was hoping to see him.
Real life, you mean there's real life?
I know. I remember I was talking to him, and I was like, I'll see you this weekend, yeah. And he was like, no, I have to take this test, and I can't remember. It was something really fancy. And I was like, that sounds exciting. He was like, I was supposed to be at men's championships. And I was like, I can't decide which one's more exciting.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry that he didn't get to make it. Of course, New York out here, a big presence. As we pointed out, 5 o'clock, it's going to be New York facing off against Texas. An exciting, exciting game. And speaking of exciting games, this exciting game, it looks like it's 5 seconds away from getting back underway. A power start for Puget Sound. Mr. Furio sitting in the box. That is Scott Slamilton out there on the floor. Got a little bit of a fast pack going on this time. Scott is, ooh, wow. Just the footwork on that man. Gets through lead jammer status.
52 points so far, but a 67% lead percentage. That's awesome. And a plus 30 in the differential.
Nice. Furio is back on the track, approaching the pack sort of warily. Puget is sitting in the back waiting for him. Scott Slamilton takes a bit of a tumble to the outside and drops his star somehow. He replaces it on his helmet. And looks like he's going to have a seat in the box for a forearm.
Being sent all the way around as well.
Yeah, can't pass the point of no return.
Boss Bear with the big clearing block, but Furio still struggling with Quadzilla, Corey Payne and company.
So now a power jam for Southern Discomfort, and it's going to be the full 2-minute jam, so we'll have to wait for the natural conclusion. Ballistic really giving Hunter the what for. I like that Hunter was smiling as he's being recycled back. It's nice to see such rough and tumble play, and then they're still so happy. So still friends on the track no matter what.
Oh, that's right. They'll be having fun at the after party.
Yeah.
Visit and hanging out. That's what I love to do. So Furio on the front end still looking for that initial pass, but meanwhile Scott Slamilton slicing through the defense with great effort, putting up 5 more. Or is it 4 more up there?
Scott meeting up with Southern Discomfort's gentlemen. All 4 of them waiting in the back. Couldn't quite do. Oh, he did get past 1. Hips past 1, so 1 more point on the board. That is a 5-point jam for Puget Sound. 166-75. About. Oops, sorry. No. It was a 4-point jam for Southern Discomfort. I missed that. 166-79. We're about 10.5 minutes left in this game.
We've got Rosie Collette, future wife of Boss Bear, watching from Suffolk, England. Big love to Southern Discomfort. And from over on the other side, Dan Block is watching from Seattle. So, home of Puget Sound Outcast. Storied team and tradition out there on the West Coast. Fawn number 85 says shrooms.
There's been several posts for shrooms.
Yeah.
I walked by him a second ago and I was
There's a big giant head in the audience for shrooms over
shrooms.
there. And
they did have several of the Southern Discomfort skaters yesterday, but I don't know if the holders left them. Yeah, there we go. There's also that's Fancy Pants if he didn't have a beard. So now we know who's jamming.
Wow. And Shrooms out there. He's got the sign right behind him. You can see it on your screen. Shroom's head is popping up behind him, so along with someone else's.
That's Fancy Pants.
Fancy Pants.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got a beard right now.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time. I was like, he looks so familiar. Oh, it is Fancy Pants. And we do have Fancy Pants and Shrooms both on the line and bobbing through our audience.
And setting impact over there. So, love from the audience here, and it's wonderful to come to. I would miss it. You know, it's my fourth straight MRDA championships, and I would come whether I was announcing or not. The energy is electric. The guys, they play hard, and they love the sport. So there's a lot of love and community here. You know, very similar to WFTDA tournaments as well. So both are fantastic. Make sure you make it out to any tournament you can physically attend. If not, watch them on WFTDA.tv. And we appreciate all the support from all of our sponsors. Want to give them lots of love. Albeda, and the and all the sponsors have made this possible. So thank you to all of them.
Swoopy whistle means we're about to get this bout back underway. Puget Sound looks ready. Southern Discomfort looks ready. It's like Chuck's going to be leading a pretty serious defense right up front. Shrooms taking a knock to the outside, being recycled back. Ooh, and out on the outside, Fancy Pants just blasts through. Lead jammer status goes to Puget Sound. Jensen is really taking it upon himself to keep Shrooms at bay, and he's doing so quite successfully. Now he's coming up against Nugget and Hollywood and Bots. Yep. Jensen takes him out to the outside again. Then he gets assessed a forearm penalty just as Fancy Pants comes through, picking up 5 more points for the Puget Sound Outcasts.
Shrooms playing a little defense from the jammer position and then trying to punch through past Nugget, but Scott Slamilton comes down and slams him down for that one. He will take a trip to the penalty box. Shrooms coming around. Southern Discomfort keeping it at about 100-point spread here, so playing them close late in this one, but Puget Sound holding on and not losing any ground, of course. Knox says, I totally fell in love with So Disco yesterday, but today these obvious and avoidable jammer penalties are infuriating, and they are for them too as well. So to buy these guys a drink later at the bar, come all the way over here from England, and they got a lot of love from everyone.
Yeah, Knox is actually tweeting from in the venue, so we can we can hassle her after this. She's a Como Derby dame actually from Columbia, Missouri. Saw her earlier.
I knew that. But
yeah,
I hadn't seen Knox yet.
She's secretly here somewhere.
Aha.
Speaking of here comes Corporal Punishment, but he's not got lead jammer status. It is called off by Southern Discomfort before he even reaches the back. 4 points, so a 4-0 jam in favor. 4 points in favor of Southern Discomfort. The score is still 171 to Southern Discomfort's 83 with just over 8 minutes left in this game.
Roller Derby Elite, the brand that defines the sport. Official sponsor of Men's Team USA Roller Derby. So, Furio jamming for, of course, Southern Discomfort. Caught at the back of the pack by Dylan Botts. Will recycle backwards. Scott Slamilton, one more to pass. That's Sutton on the front end. Knifes by on the outside. Furio recycled again. Sent pack into the back by Dylan Botts. Dylan Botts playing amazing one-on-one defense with Furio. Scott Slamilton almost gets the outside pass. Boss Bear, man, Hendrick puts a blow on Sutton. That happens over and over again. And now a big shot from Boss Bear onto Scott Slamilton. Scott Slamilton getting up slow from that one. Boss Bear heavy with the hits.
It looks like Jay Vorel out there is having a conversation with Boss Bear, but I don't know to what end. And it looks like Boss Bear doesn't know either. So I'm glad that we're both a little bit confused what is quite going on. Is he potentially on his 7th?
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Where is he sitting? Oh, no, it does look like, I think Jay was probably telling him, you're on 7. He's aware of that. We're going to have to. Yeah.
So another foul out. So that is the nature of the conversation.
Yeah, I believe
which
so.
was we were wondering about there. Quick bearings when you want quick. Think quick. Roll faster and farther with quick ceramic bearings. 2 in the penalty box for Southern Discomfort.
They showed us for a second, and I got scared. I didn't want to tell you. They finally panned over to the announcers for like the first time this whole weekend. I'm like, oh, God, it's us.
We are dressed for radio here.
Hey, I look nice.
Fancy pants. Well, I'm in purple, so that looks good, too. So Fancy Pants lead jammer for the Outcast coming around now into turn 4. Only 2 blockers on the track for Southern Discomfort. That'll make it easy. Fancy Pants through 4-5. Horn Dog continuing to battle up front against Quadzilla, getting a lot of chest-to-shoulder action.
Thunderstruck helping out as well. The only 2 Puget Sound blockers on the track right now, in fact, are Thunderstruck and Quadzilla. Fancy Pants goes ahead and calls it off. I believe that's 3 more points for Puget Sound Outcasts, bringing this an 8-point jam, 188-83 with just under 6 minutes left in this half.
Taking a look at our scoring here real quick. Scott Slamilton with 66 and Fancy Pants with 64. That'll be the tops over there on the Puget Sound side. And for the Knights of Discomfort, we've got 33 for Blitzkrieg and 30 for Furio. Furio chesting up with Dylan Botts now. Dylan Botts one-on-one backwards. Coming up against Nugget, knocked to the inside by Nugget. Nugget doing a lot of recycling of jammers in this game. Very impressive again. Furio stuck at the back of the pack. Meanwhile, jam is called.
Corporal punishment had quickly taken the outside, as you guys probably saw. Got lead, called it off. I think that was that might have been a 0-0. Nope, sorry. It is a 4-0. So corporal punishment picking up 4 more, bringing us up to 192-83.
Winding down here, under 5 minutes remaining. Armor Flex provides the added protection to withstand any hit from the competition. A new era of protective gear from Armor Flex.
This jam is underway. Mr. Furio back out on the floor, facing off against Scott Slamilton. Hollywood giving Mr. Furio quite the hassle with his shoulders.
Took him off the ground there with that hit.
Just popped him actually up.
Yeah.
Scott has gotten lead jammer status for Puget Sound. He is taken out on the outside, passing up Spectral, picking up 5 more points for the Outcasts.
Furio takes a big shot from Quadzilla. Quadzilla now jumping backwards to recycle him. Little head shaking here, some frustration from number 23. Pack moving backwards, little time-killing reverse derby on the floor.
This is the recyclingest of the recycles.
Yeah, slowly here. No reason to hurry things up for the Outcast. Now Furio back into the 4 wall, now 2 wall, trying to break it down and get past Quadzilla. It's sat on by Quadzilla, and then taking a huge shot from Hendrick. Hendrick just times those hits.
He really does.
Extraordinary force. And Furio headed to the penalty box, looking like a low block And Hendrick will go to the penalty box as well, following along behind. And a shout out here from Steve Rexy, watching from Calgary, home of the Glenmore Reservoir Dogs MRDA team and host league of the Worlds in 2016 Rice Ball. So that's pretty cool. And they're going to have, after the championship game today, they're going to have a seeding drawing for those Men's World Championships, or Men's World Cup.
Yeah,
That is in
pools.
Calgary, and I look forward to going up there next year as well. Whether as a fan or as an announcer, I will definitely be up in Calgary to see that action.
I'm super excited about it. I've actually I've gotten to announce with the Glenmore Reservoir Dogs a couple of times, so Rice Ball is a familiar name to me, and I'm excited at the prospect myself of, going as a fan or as an announcer, hopefully as an announcer. But yeah, Statman is out here from Washington, D.C. He has the World Cup trophy with him, which he's now, he only touches it with these special gloves on because it's silver, and he doesn't want to tarnish it at all, and just the oil on your skin will give it some tarnish. So he's out here today, so if you're lazing around and capable of coming out, if you're in the greater St. Louis area, you can check out the pools. I'm excited about it. I've never been at a pool
But you have to wear special
drawing.
gloves if you want to
Yeah,
touch
don't
it.
touch
So
it. You have to look at it with your
touch
eyeballs. You got to put your gloves on your eyes.
We will take
before
a
you even
picture
look
and tweet it out
tarnish
there
it.
for you.
Yeah.
So Alice says a shout out to Davey Darko, jammer reffing like an absolute boss right now. Love that guy. Some love for our referees on the floor. And again, we want to thank the referees, not just here this weekend, which we have a great crews working this tournament, and but all those referees that work at home. It really takes, in the hometowns and of these teams, it really takes a whole village to raise a derby skater, and they all work together at it. So the NSOs at home, thank you from the players, thank you from us, the refs, and everyone. Of course, the families who are supporting these guys to be here.
Right. Yeah. The families putting up with this derby addiction. And
I know
supporting
mine does.
they can. Yeah.
That's right. So some discussion on the track right now. It's a good opportunity for us to tell you about Radar Presto is the best wheel for nailing all types of stops. Nail your stops, Presto. Proud supporter of Men's Derby and the MRDA. So, what do you think on that Your Mom Gatekeepers game? I mean, a lot of people are predicting Gatekeepers on this one. They're looking so strong right now. They've advanced. They're blocking walls. Or the strategy's fantastic. They're very deep at blocker, very large, very deep. And the jamming rotation is huge.
And we are seeing a couple of new faces this year who have been with the Gatekeepers for a long time, but have recently made it all the way up to the travel team, such as Metcalf, formerly D. Mouthful, and stuff like that, doing a great job and really making their team proud. So
they're very hopeful, being that it's here in St. Louis.
They're very hopeful. Are you asking who I would like to see win, or who I think will win?
What do you think is, what are some keys to the game for St. Louis?
Oh, well, for St. Louis, I know they've been gearing up specifically for this, of course, as they have every year. I think this year, having learned some stuff from last year and having really put in an excellent season, I think we're going to see St. Louis ready to take on your mom. So I think the bout is going to be brilliant.
I agree.
I would imagine I don't foresee a blowout. How's that? I think the score will be very, very close. I'm excited to see it. I might save my yelling voice just for that bout, although I do want to yell my face off at the Texas-New York bout. Both of them are yell-worthy, in my opinion. We're getting a little bit of information from Bambi Lance. What do you got, Raucus?
Well, the official review is the blue jammer is being sent to the box for a low block. So they reviewed it, and that was the case.
So both jammers are going to start in the box. They're both standing, so when both jammers start in the box, they both have to hang out for 10 seconds. That's why they're both standing. So we wait the awkward 10 seconds.
Yeah, and there was some confusion about what went on there at the end of the jam with a lot of people going down in turn 3. So back onto the floor, Fancy Pants for the outcast, Mr. Furia. And it'll be Fancy Pants rocking that scoreboard for more, trying to keep pace with Scott Slamilton here. Furio tries to take the inside. It is shut down by Corey Payne, longstanding veteran of the team.
Oof. Piston broke, taking fancy pants with a nice shoulder to the sternum. Him and Hendrick are going to have to come in and back behind. I believe that's a ballistic.
Yeah, piston broke. So tough.
Oh, sorry, piston broke.
Really one of those kind of players that you would not want to get into a pub brawl with.
Furio is through, but he is not lead because lead's already been taken up by Mr. Pants, who's going to call it off right as Furio comes to the pack.
Man, body slamming in there like a street fight. But, I'm seeing smiles out there as well, for Southern Discomfort. They know that they're not going to win this one at this point, down by over 100 points with under 2 minutes remaining. So they're just having fun with it, playing their hearts out, getting taking shots and getting, taking shots hit on them as well. So
right.
You're seeing big, powerful hits. We've seen a lot of knockdowns in this. In modern derby, we see a lot of these, structured walls and strategy, and you don't see a lot of that old school bodies flying and hitting the floor. But in this one, certainly we've got some bruisers out here who like to lay those, catch the other blocker unaware and knock them to the ground. Well-timed hits all the way around from both of these teams.
Thinking back to that hit that Boss Bear did on Nugget so early in the game when Nugget was, I think, kind of cheering for himself at what he had done, and Boss Bear come flying out of nowhere. But there has been a lot of really well-timed hits from both of these teams. This game has been a pleasure to watch. I realize there's a pretty big point spread at this point. We're at 202 to 83. But this is one of those bouts, once again, I was excited about. Just recently moved to the greater Seattle area, so I live in Tacoma technically. But, having seen Southern Discomfort last year at MRDA championships and them pretty much making it international MRD championships by showing up last year, it was a bout I really looked forward to. So.
Well, Chris Daniels says, watching till the end, cheering on SoDisco on behalf of OWG girls and guys, Oxford, England. And Kim Roberts says, shout out to the Outcast, way to kick butt.
We are an official review for Southern Discomfort.
SDRD says, bully Jennifer McCormick watching from Hertfordshire, England with my own hero, Mild Discomfort.
Nice.
Thank you for all those tweets, and we enjoyed getting all that international action, especially from over across the pond in Europe. Definitely had some for down in South America as well. So to all those people watching out on the stream on WFT.TV, don't forget to tune in for the championships of WFTDA coming up. That should be extraordinary. Of course, last year, Rose playing against Gotham in the final, and that came down to the final jam. And I know Rose is going to be doing some kind of tribute this year to Rob Lobster and at Champs. And we are also here tonight in the house. I'm on the championship game. We'll have a moment of silence beforehand for Bridgetown and for everybody that loved Rob. So, huge things going on. But I love the story here of the family of roller derby and how it continues to evolve and progress. And it's not just, the sport is fantastic, but it's also the community, and we love it. And, I know I'm preaching to the choir here for you out there that are actually watching roller derby, but, tell your friends, get them involved, come be a volunteer. It's the quickest way to make like 100 new Facebook friends, Join your local roller derby league as a volunteer skater or whatever. You could be like Spectral Collaboration who again, to join the team as a fan, decided to help out in ref and is now a top blocker and skater. So all kinds of stories being written throughout the derby community. And another little shout out here from Ballistic Whistle to Jukebox watching from home and appreciates all the support.
So I see Lexi Vore coming at us. I think we're going to have a little information for you on this official review here in a minute. But, of course, they need to talk it through on the track first before they tell us.
Waiting on clarification here for what's going on. So,
right.
discussion on the track and a little dancing happening out there. These fans, I think, are getting fired up in the house. The energy in the crowd here, is you can feel it like there's a storm coming. Everybody knows it. These next 2 games are going to be spectacular. That is my prediction. I don't think we'll have a 100-point blowout on either one of them. I think they're going to be close, within 50 points, and they're going to play their hearts out. Both teams coming up next, Texas and New York Stock Exchange, really want that third-place position. New York has never been below third place,
right?
Have they? So
no.
That would be, they had a great weekend. That would be a big fall for them. And Texas, though, certainly deserves it, as does New York. But somebody's got to win it back on the floor.
Right.
It is Blitzkrieg. Blitzkrieg is pounding up the middle with 2 more to pass on the front end, but no easy task with D-Bots bending over backwards on the blocking action. And Blitzkrieg is through as lead in what could be our last jam. Under a minute and a half remaining.
Yeah, if they wind down this clock, I think this is going to be finished.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out of the box is Fancy Pants. Coming in at a medium tick, low to the ground.
Blitzkrieg almost through. Boy, just needed to spin that outside leg, keep it off the ground.
And Blitzkrieg certainly decided to take Hunter down on his own. Went out with him, calls it off. He's back there with Bots. It's going to be recycled back, but that is 5 more points on the board for Southern Discomfort, bringing them up to 88 to Puget Sound's 202. And we've got enough time left on the clock for 1 jam. So this, unless some absolute crazy talk that I can't even imagine happens, will be our final jam for this, the final consolation. Whoever wins this will be 5th place in this tournament. Right?
No, it's actually, we got the consolation brackets, but there's other teams that could get in 5th place. That aren't, so we didn't have a complete play out for that. So these are consolation games so that everybody gets 2.
Oh, I see.
But we'll have to let the point spreads determine who's in 5th place.
I gotcha.
Mr. Furio, probably last jam here with the period clock, expiring.
Mm-hmm.
So a minute and a half left on the jam clock. Down to our final action in this one. It's been furious on action. Lots of bodies hitting the floor, lots of recycling. Great blocking, I think, is the story of the day for the Outcast. Very consistent team.
Fury trying his best. Quadzilla getting the last hit on him while accepting the star, which has been successfully passed and now donned. Quadzilla takes the outside, swoops in the smallest of spaces that was left by Southern Discomfort. Gets through. That was the finish of his initial pass. This is coming in for a scurrying pass, but it's going to be called off. Leave 5 more points for Southern Discomfort, and this is the unofficial final. 202 to 93.
Yeah, big showing here, and Southern Discomfort just, with the jammer penalties kind of fell apart a little bit, particularly in the first half. Really they've been down by close to 100 for this almost the entire second half. So the second half played fairly evenly, and but Puget Sound really took that big lead in the first half, and Reaper had those 3 trips to the box in a very short amount of time, and within 2 or 3 jams. Big part of that, and then fouling out later in the game. Boss Bear also fouled out. Sutton Impact fouled out over on that side. No foul outs on the Outcast Derby side. Looking at our scores, leading scorer of the game was Scott Slamilton with 73, and then Fancy Pants with 67. Leading scorers on the Knights of Discomfort side were Blitzkrieg and Furieux with 35. Not quite enough in this one, though, right, Sleazer?
Not quite enough, no. Lots of great effort in this one, but just, we ended up with this 99-point spread, which it is now final, 202 to 93. That is our final score.